What if a country's greatest strength was also its deepest, most defining conflict? Forget the travel brochures that sell you turquoise waters and ancient ruins. They show you a postcard, not a soul. We're going to a place that straddles two continents, but is truly a world of its own. A nation forged in the fires of empire, then deliberately reinvented by a revolutionary vision, leaving it in a perpetual, beautiful, and chaotic tug of war with itself. This isn't a journey to see Turkey. This is a journey to understand why Turkey is the way it is. A magnificent paradox, where every street corner tells a story of a battle for its very identity. So, are you ready to look behind the curtain? Napoleon once famously said, "If the world were a single country, Istanbul would be its capital." It's a quote you'll hear everywhere here, a source of immense national pride. But what does it truly mean to be the capital of the world? It means you belong to everyone, and therefore, to no one in particular. It means you are a crossroads, a melting pot, a living contradiction. And that is the absolute truth of Istanbul. The city breathes this paradox. Stand in the district of Fatih, and you are unequivocally in the Middle East. The air is thick with the scent of spices from the market. The call to prayer echoes from the courtyards of centuries, old mosques, and life unfolds with a conservative, traditional rhythm. Women in headscarves navigate crowded streets, and the weight of the Ottoman past feels as solid as the ancient city walls. Then, you board a ferry, not just a means of transport, but a ritual of passage. For 15 minutes, you cross the Bosphorus, leaving Europe for Asia, and as you step off in Kadkai, you've teleported. Suddenly, you're in a bohemian enclave that could be Berlin or Barcelona. Students with dyed hair lounge in third, wave coffee shops, independent bookshops, and vinyl stores line the streets. And the bars and pubs are packed with young people debating art and politics, their laughter mixing with the sound of a street musician's electric guitar. This isn't just a difference between two districts, it's the central tension of modern Turkey, played out on a single city map. Is this Europe? Is this the Middle East? The answer is a defiant and often confusing yes. While cities like London or New York have become multicultural in recent decades, Istanbul has been living this reality for millennia. This isn't a new experiment, it's the city's default setting. Life here moves to a rhythm that feels both Western in its aspirations and Eastern in its soul. You see nightclubs throbbing until dawn, a vibrant flirting culture, and fashion that rivals any European capital. Yet, you also see a deep-seated respect for tradition, a societal fabric woven with religious threads, and a pace of life that, despite the chaotic traffic, knows how to slow down. People here have mastered the art of being patient in their daily lives, even if they lose all composure behind the wheel of a car. This city doesn't just offer you two cultures for the price of one. It forces you to reconcile them within your own mind every single day. And in that constant negotiation, you begin to understand the complex, beautiful, and sometimes exhausting identity of Turkey itself. But to truly grasp why this paradox exists, we have to look back to the ghost of one empire and the radical vision of the man who replaced it. Every stone in Istanbul is saturated with history. This was Constantinople, the heart of the Roman and Byzantine empires, the Queen of Cities. Then, in 1453, Fatih Sultan Mehmet, the conqueror, rode into the city, transforming it into the capital of the Ottoman Empire, a global superpower for over 400 years. This imperial legacy is everywhere, in the magnificent domes of the mosques, the labyrinthine halls of Topkapi Palace, and the unspoken pride in the eyes of its people. The Ottoman past is a source of immense glory, a golden age of art, science, and power. But in the early 20th century, that glorious empire had become the sick man of Europe, crumbling and defeated. And from its ashes rose a figure so monumental, so transformative, that his presence is more palpable today than any Sultan Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. You cannot understand modern Turkey without understanding Atatürk. And you must understand that respect for him is not optional. It is the law. His statues are in every town square, his portrait in every government office, every school, and many shops. Disrespecting his memory is a criminal offense, a line that is taken with absolute seriousness. Why? Because Atatürk did more than just found the Republic of Turkey in 1923. He performed a kind of radical cultural surgery on the nation. His vision was to wrench Turkey from its Ottoman, Islamic past and forcibly pivot it towards a secular, Western future. He abolished the caliphate, replaced Arabic script with a Latin alphabet, banned the fez and other traditional headwear, and gave women the right to vote long before many European countries. He was a revolutionary who believed the only way for Turkey to survive and thrive was to become modern, and to him, modern meant Western. This act of creation was also an act of erasure. It created the foundational conflict we see today, a nation proud of its Islamic, imperial heritage, yet legally and constitutionally bound to a secular, Western-facing identity. This is why a government promoting religious values still operates within a fiercely secular constitution. It's why you see a woman in a modern designer dress praying next to a woman in a full chador in the same mosque. It's why the country can feel so progressive and so conservative, often on the same street. The Turks' deep admiration for historical figures like Atatürk and Fatih Sultan Mehmet is not just patriotism. It is a reflection of this dual identity. One represents the glorious imperial past, the other the ambitious, modern future. And the nation lives in the space between these two colossal figures, constantly trying to reconcile their legacies. This grand historical drama isn't just in the history books. It plays out in the daily life and the unspoken rules of the street. If history is Turkey's grand narrative, the streets are where the everyday chapters are written. And to read them, you need to learn a new language. One that isn't about words, but about gestures, rituals, and a shared understanding of how life works. The first word in this language is sit. Tea in Turkey is not a beverage, it's social glue. It is offered as a sign of welcome, a prelude to a negotiation, a reason to pause, and a cure for everything. If you make eye contact with a shopkeeper, he might just offer you a tulip-shaped glass of steaming, amber liquid. Accepting it is accepting a moment of connection. In these small tea houses, or haba, you'll see the essence of kam-uluk, the culture of neighborliness. It's a fading art in much of the world, but here, community ties are still strong. Your neighbor is your first line of support, a source of gossip, and someone you can rely on. But this warm, patient culture of connection seems to vanish the moment people get behind the wheel. Istanbul's traffic is legendary, a chaotic ballad of honking, weaving, and creative interpretations of traffic laws. The same person who patiently waited 20 minutes for his tea to brew will lay on the horn if you pause for a single second at a green light. This impatience, however, is a symptom of a larger struggle. Life in Turkey is hard. The country has been battling crippling inflation for years. Prices can feel like they're doubling annually, while wages struggle to keep up. The minimum wage as of 2024 hovers around 17,000 Turkish lira, which is roughly $520 USD. Now, consider that the rent for a modest apartment in a decent Istanbul neighborhood can easily consume half of that, if not more. This isn't just a statistic. It's the daily reality that drives the hustle. It's why you see shopkeepers opening their stores at 6 a.m., working relentlessly, fighting to make a sale. This economic reality also explains some of the country's more puzzling aspects. Take cars. Owning a car here isn't a convenience. It's a profound statement of wealth and status. The taxes on vehicles are astronomical. A car that costs 50,000 in Europe could easily cost a 120,000 or more here. You pay a tax that is often equal to or greater than the value of the car itself. This makes luxury brands more than just transportation. They are symbols of power, a way to broadcast success in a society where financial stability is a constant struggle. This aspiration for luxury is everywhere, a stark contrast to the economic hardship faced by many. This constant pressure cooker environment might also explain another pervasive habit: smoking. Nearly 4 out of 10 adults smoke. It's a habit picked up young and held onto for life, a small, constant release in a world of uncertainties. It's just another layer of the complex social fabric, a daily ritual as ingrained as drinking tea. But to truly live here, rather than just visit, you have to navigate a system that is far more complex than just its social customs. You have to face the bureaucracy. This is the part of the journey most travel videos conveniently ignore. It's the unglamorous, frustrating, yet absolutely essential reality of trying to build a life here: the bureaucracy. If you want to stay in Turkey for more than a few months, you must enter the labyrinthine world of the ikamet, the residence permit. This process is a rite of passage. It involves gathering a mountain of paperwork, rental contracts, health insurance, tax numbers, notarized documents, and submitting it to a system that can feel both bewilderingly inefficient and surprisingly human. You will spend hours in government offices. You will be sent from one window to another. You will encounter officials who are incredibly helpful, and others who seem to embody the very definition of indifference. It's a bureaucratic odyssey that will test your patience to its limits. But something remarkable happens during this process. You are forced to engage with the real Turkey. You can't get by with tourist smiles and English. You have to figure out how to get a tax number, how to open a bank account, how to navigate a public health system. And in doing so, you quickly realize the single most important key to unlocking this country: the language. Outside the tourist bubbles of Sultanahmet or the chic cafes of the Bosphorus, English will only get you so far. Daily life, from haggling at the local market to explaining a plumbing issue to your landlord, happens in Turkish. Without it, you are perpetually an outsider, observing life through a soundproof window. Learning Turkish is more than just practical. It's a sign of respect that opens doors you never knew were closed. The moment you start stringing together even broken sentences, you'll see a change. The reserved shopkeeper becomes a warm conversationalist. The gruff taxi driver shares stories about his family. People's faces light up. You are no longer just a foreigner, Sekabank. You are a guest who is making an effort. Finding work as a foreigner is another challenge, intertwined with language and law. The market is competitive, and many jobs are unofficially reserved for locals. But for those with specific skills, especially in tech, international business, or teaching, opportunities exist. Yet, they all lead back to the same bureaucratic maze of work permits and legal requirements. This struggle, this constant navigation of systems, is precisely why so many Turks, especially those in Istanbul, dream of an escape. not to another country, but to a different version of their own. When the relentless energy of Istanbul becomes too much, Turks don't just take a vacation, they seek refuge. They flee south and west to the Aegean and Mediterranean coasts, two regions that offer a completely different vision of Turkish life. This isn't just a change of scenery, it's a change in philosophy. The Mediterranean coast, home to places like Antalya Cave and Fethiye, is Turkey's vibrant, sun-drenched playground. The water is impossibly blue, the energy is high, and life is lived outdoors. It's more developed, more geared towards tourism, but still retains an incredible natural beauty. Waking up to the sound of cicadas, diving into the cool sea, and watching the sunset over the mountains is a powerful antidote to city stress. But for a deeper sense of peace, many are drawn to the Aegean. From the Bohemian peninsula of Datça to the charming stone houses of Alatat and the tranquil olive groves of Ayvalık, the Aegean is more subdued, more rustic, more soulful. Life here moves at a slower, more deliberate pace. The rhythm is set by the fishing boats returning in the morning and the call to the evening meal. It's in these coastal towns that you truly see the famous Mediterranean diet in action. The local markets overflow with fresh vegetables, glistening olives, fragrant herbs, and sun-ripened fruits. Meals are simple, healthy, and centered around what is fresh and local. It's no coincidence that people here are known to live longer, healthier lives. They have escaped the stress and pollution of the metropolis and embraced a lifestyle in harmony with the sea and the seasons. For many city dwellers, buying a small stone house or an olive grove on the coast is the ultimate dream. It represents a return to a simpler, more authentic way of life. And for a visitor, spending time here offers a crucial perspective. Istanbul, for all its power and glory, is not all of Turkey. There is another Turkey, a quieter, sunnier, and perhaps happier version, waiting just a few hours away. This duality extends even to the dinner table, where what you eat and drink can be a statement of your place in the nation's cultural landscape. You cannot talk about Turkey without talking about food. Turkish cuisine is a magnificent legacy of the Ottoman Empire's vast geography, a symphony of flavors from the Balkans to Persia. It's consistently ranked among the world's best, and for good reason. But beyond the famous kebabs and baklava, the food culture reveals the country's deepest values. Take breakfast or kahvaltı. In Turkey, breakfast is not a quick bite. It is a sacred ritual, especially on weekends. A proper Turkish breakfast table is a sprawling masterpiece of small plates, multiple kinds of cheese, black and green olives, honey with clotted cream, kaymak, homemade jams, fresh tomatoes and cucumbers, spicy sausage sukuk, and the egg dish menemen. All of this is accompanied by baskets of fresh bread and the ever-present simit, and washed down with endless glasses of tea. It's an event that can last for hours, a celebration of family, friends, and the simple pleasure of sharing a meal. It is a delicious act of rebellion against the rushed pace of modern life. But while the table is a place of unity, what you drink can be a source of division. Alcohol in Turkey is a sensitive and politically charged issue. Due to high taxes imposed by the government, the price of alcoholic beverages is exceptionally high. Officially, this is to protect public health. Unofficially, it's widely seen as a reflection of the ruling party's conservative, religious values, a gentle discouragement of a secular lifestyle. This doesn't mean alcohol is banned. In the liberal, western-facing districts of Istanbul and the coastal tourist regions, consumption is widespread. The national drink, rakı, a potent anise-flavored spirit, is central to a beloved social tradition. A rack dinner is a long, leisurely affair, where the spirit is sipped slowly with water and ice, accompanied by a vast array of small cold dishes called meals. It is a cherished ritual of conversation and camaraderie. And so, even at the dinner table, the paradox continues. A country that celebrates a leisurely, communal food culture also engages in a quiet debate over the morality and place of alcohol in its society. It's a perfect metaphor for Turkey itself, a feast of rich traditions, complex flavors, and deeply felt contradictions. So, we return to Istanbul, a city that isn't just a place on a map, but a living, breathing testament to a nation's soul. It is a city that wears its history, its conflicts, and its beauty on its sleeve. To live here, even for a short time, is to understand that a country is not a monolith. It is a collection of beautiful, chaotic, and unresolved stories. Turkey doesn't offer easy answers. Instead, it offers a profound lesson that identity is not a destination, but a constant, dynamic journey between the past you inherit and the future you choose to build. What part of this complex identity surprised you the most? Share your thoughts or questions in the comments below. If this journey opened your eyes to a new perspective, share this video with a fellow traveler who loves to look deeper. And for more deep dives into the world's most fascinating and misunderstood places, make sure to subscribe. Until our next exploration, stay curious.